Good morning, Internet. The time now is 11:20 a.m. And yes, I am in the mountains up in Vermont. All right, I'm in the great state of Vermont. Oh, the dog is coming at me. All right, we don't want to go this way. The dog does not like me. See that? He's telling me to do not approach. But anyway, I'm in the mountains of Vermont, and part of my 50 state tour today I'm in Vermont. Tomorrow I will be in New Hampshire, and the next day I'll be in Maine. So I kept thinking to myself, what is there for me to do in Vermont, man? Well, a quick Google search told me that Vermont is the state of maple syrup. So, what did I do? I booked myself a trip to the Baird Farms. Okay? Baird Farms up in Vermont. It's the maple syrup farm, and I'm here. I have a tour at about 12 p.m. right? They're gonna give me a tour of the farm, and they're gonna teach me everything about maple syrup, how to make it, you know, the whole process. And we get to try some maple syrup, and this is inside, right here, inside here. They're gonna show me how it goes. I just went inside and they told me, you see the fence? The fence here, they told me anytime I see the fence here, do not touch it because there's electric. It's electrified. Do not touch it, and I might get, you know, I might get one of those zap. I might get zapped if I touch it, so we don't want to do that. So I guess this is it. This is the farm all the way back here, all the way in the back. So I can't wait to see how they make maple syrup. The only problem is it's raining right now. It is raining. Hopefully the rain stops and we can get a nice tour, and I can show you guys how they make maple syrup. And I'm here in Vermont, and so I will check back again with you when the tour starts. Again, it starts at 12. It is now maybe about 11:30. So I have another 30 minutes of just being here and waiting. And let's see it. Vermont, let's go. Oh, it's cold, right?
I don't know if you're coming back in or...
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good.
Ketchup.
Yeah, we make a maple ketchup, so it's sweetened with maple syrup instead of corn syrup.
Got it.
Yeah. Yes, it is possible.
So how long has this place been open?
Say that one more time.
How long you been open here?
Farm has been in my family for 105 years.
Yeah, I see the sign.
Yeah, so the store, like, it's morphed from a lot of different stages in the business, but Jacob and I, he'll be giving the tour, we've been back on the farm for eight-ish years now. In this space we've had since 2017. But it used to be in like a little room off my parents' back porch at the farmhouse up there. And then we built this, and now we realize that this is too small, so we'll see where we end up at.
Got it.
Ever changing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where did you guys fly from?
Utah.
Okay.
Utah. You came here just for this?
Of course.
Oh, man.
Pressure's on.
That's a lot of pressure.
The leaves.
A lot of pressure. I came from Connecticut.
Ah.
Yeah.
See, we hadn't been to Vermont yet, so why not?
Yeah.
And then while you're here, you have to take a tour.
Yeah, you have to take a tour.
So-
Absolutely. Wow. Never been to Utah.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cold. I don't like the cold.
Oh, it's not in the summer.
It's not, no.
It's blazing hot in the summer. It's perfect right now. It's like mid-70s.
Oh, okay.
It's warmer than
Nice.
it is here.
I know.
I know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and if you're outdoorsy at all, there's so much to do that you never get it all done.
Yeah.
So much to see.
Yeah, my plan. I hope to see all 50 states at some point in time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can do it.
That's my goal too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
So I got Vermont out of the way now.
Nice.
The downfall though is like we drove from Boston. I'm like, wow, this is a lot farther than I would expect. Because like in Utah, to get from the top of the state to the bottom, like, it's 4 hours. So
Yeah, it took me about 4 hours to get here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were surprised because I'm like, all these states are supposed to be so much smaller and closer together. It shouldn't take that long.
Yeah.
You are here
Sorry,
for the
Valet.
tour, and you have arrived right on time, which I like. I like punctuality. I grew up in a family that there was just a lot going on. You know what I mean? There was 4 boys, and my parents were predictably like an hour late, which instilled like a sense of urgency or need to be on time. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you know when the pendulum shifts so far one way, then it shifts so far back the other way? And then you're just compensating for your parents? Still kind of cool. Head nods. Okay. My name is Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi, everyone. We're gonna go walk out to the closest trees that it's like maybe 10, 15 minutes. We'll probably spend longer than some of us want out there. But we can just head back in whenever we get cold and wet and miserable. And then we're gonna look at some shiny things. We're bottling maple syrup right now. We're bottling mint. Maybe, can you smell it? I can't smell it.
I can smell the mint.
Okay, cool. What are you making?
I'm working on a bag.
Cool. To put bottles of maple syrup that you're gonna
Absolutely.
buy.
Oh yeah, I'm working on it. Or yours. Yes.
The hard sales pitch starts already. I like the color scheme.
Thank you. I'm giving mystery van, like Scooby-Doo vibes.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah.
love Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
You watch those shows now, like as a person that's older than 18, there's a lot going on those shows. Substance abuse and all sorts of stuff. Cool. Let's go for a walk. Da, 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 da.
Not everyone go all at once. Thank you.
Yep. Got it.
Thank you.
Of course.
Have fun, guys.
All right, later.
See you later.
Yep.
Oh.
All right. So the tour is starting, guys. The tour is starting.
And Herbie's from Connecticut.
Yes, I am from Connecticut. Took me 4 hours to get here.
What?
Took me 4 hours to get here.
4 hours of fun.
So you guys are very
Controlling the
special.
radio.
Huh?
Who was controlling the radio?
We were talking.
We were talking. That's good.
Yeah.
Talking is good for a relationship. What's your name?
Astrid.
Astrid. My name's Jacob. Herbie. And your name's from Indiana? Laurel. Kiara. Laurel, Kiara, Lily, okay. Dan. Where's Mom? Jenny.
Hey, I'm a Jenny.
Cool. Oh, 2 Jenny's times 2. And you're from Washington State?
No, we're from Utah.
Oh, that's around. Cool. Salt Lake?
Yeah.
Cool. Jenny and
Stacy.
Stacy. Cool. Let's keep moving. And then over here, where are y'all coming from? New Jersey and Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah.
So, what are your names? I'm going to lose that one. Ethan. Cool. Rachel. Ethan, Rachel. Aubrey. Wes. That is very different than Brent. Wes and Brent. And
We drove from New York City.
cool.
With the show in Florida.
One more time.
Vivisha.
Vivisha.
Croydon.
Croydon. Welcome. From New York City. Where do you live in New York?
Manhattan, Battery Park.
Okay. Right in the middle
Yeah.
of the city. Okay, cool.
Nice to be out.
Nice to be here. Yeah. Ask me lots of questions on this tour. Otherwise, I'll just talk about Scooby-Doo for an hour. I could talk about Scooby-Doo for an hour. You guys don't want to talk about Scooby-Doo. Maybe
I've
Laura
never
and I.
actually seen an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Whoa, but you engaged in that color scheme with a
Yes.
lot of time and investment, not knowing?
Well, it was my intention. I just never watched it before.
Oh, it's cool. If you like whodunits that are also cartoons.
I like Murder, She Wrote.
I do like Murder, She Wrote too. Agatha Christie. It's kind of the season for that. Jen and I have been watching a lot of spooky stuff on Netflix. We just watched that new Justin Timberlake movie with Benicio del Toro. It's like a murder mystery. It's called Reptile. I'll talk about that for an hour. But you came here to talk about maple syrup, maybe? Is that partially why you're like, sure. Cool, what do we know about maple syrup?
It's good on
It is
pancakes.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yes, it is good on pancakes. Is that what you're doing on the weekends, pancakes?
Of course.
Of course, every weekend. Some people are pretty like, they got the pancake routine down. Those are the people I want to sell syrup to, that are like heavy users. Some people come in that shop and they buy like 2 gallons every 2 weeks. And I'm like, where is this thing going? What are you doing with it?
Bob Evans is like popping
Boiling stuff in it, I guess.
You're boiling stuff in it. You mean when we make it? Oh.
When you buy 2
I'm
gallons.
just
Oh, when you
trying to
buy
find
2
use
gallons,
for
you
2
boil
gallons a
stuff
week.
in it. Yeah, like a brew, like a cauldron. A witch's pot. Watch out, there's poop in this field.
Got it.
Let me reset this whole conversation.
You
My-
take the reins back.
I am Jacob. Well, my other half in there, Jenna, who most of you met very briefly, she's the second half of our duo, and she is a Baird. She's a 4th generation Baird. I'm not a Baird. But her great-grandmother bought this farm from another Baird back in the day. Her great-grandmother Sarah bought it from Nora back in 1918 during the first pandemic. And for most of the past 100 years, we were paying our bills doing cow stuff. And there's still cow stuff lying around. And there's cows up there. Did you see them earlier?
Yeah.
I can't see them right where I'm standing right now. And
They
there's
were
cows
there.
up over there. That herd is calving right now. And so we do some grass-fed beef stuff with another young guy. We sell fancy steak cuts through the shop. But mostly we pay these Netflix bills with maple syrup now.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, bills. And we tap 14,139 trees here. That's a big number. Yeah, that is a wow. Who did the whistle?
I did.
Yeah, 20 points. That's a
Give
good
me a
whistle.
voiceover show or something.
So we tap this hill I keep on looking at, this knobbin here, all the way where it dips and starts heading towards knobbin number 2. That's like 5,000 of the trees that we tap. Then we tap another 2,000 to 3,000 trees over that ridgeline, and we pump sap over the mountain. Then we tap another 6,000 to 7,000 trees over here, and that's what we're gonna go see. 14,000 trees makes us like a medium-sized farm, context-wise, state of Vermont. There's a lot of farmers making maple syrup a lot smaller than us. There's a lot of farmers a lot bigger than us. The industry as a whole, it's kind of like Boomtown and Maple World for a number of reasons. It's supposedly, if you believe the numbers you read on the internet, I try to believe most things I read on the internet. You do that?
Yeah.
Brings you to some pretty dark places. The industry has quintupled in size in 20 years, which is just like an obscene amount of growth. It's like tech company growth, like TikTok, Uber, or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. We have doubled in size here. So we've followed kind of that story of growth.
Why is that East Coast?
Who asked the question?
I did.
Jenny 1. Jenny 2. I'm going to throw that right back at you. Why do you think the industry is growing?
Probably because people want more real stuff instead of the fake.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's worth some points, 10 points. That's true. Demand is up. Demand for maple syrup is still like tiny. out of all the sugars Americans consume, like 70 to 80% of it is corn and cane, which Vermonters will call quote unquote fake stuff, right? Or beets. So a lot of sugar is made from beets in the upper Midwest. So like all of the sugars Americans consume that are maple are like 1 to 2%. It's a tiny share of sugar. But this is all growing like honeys and agaves and maple syrup. All of these natural, quote unquote, less refined sugars are growing for sure, less highly processed. They do gross things to make corn syrup and cane syrup, which we could talk about if we want to go in that direction. That's one reason, demand. There's more reasons that are acceptable answers. One of them is like, what'd you say?
Shipping worldwide.
Shipping world, growing international markets. What an idea. Yeah, like a little bit. Most of the syrup made in the it doesn't explain the growth in the United States. Most of the maple syrup in the United States stays in the United States. If you're some fancy place abroad, you're usually getting Canadian syrup. What they export most of the syrup you see abroad. It is growing a little bit. They have a whole strategic plan, the Federation does. Do we know about syrup production in Canada? No. We don't
Government
even.
secrets.
What about secrets?
Government secrets for the Canadians.
Yeah, those Canadians are so secretive up there.
I know,
They
mysterious.
Canada makes 70% of the world's maple syrup, mostly in southern Quebec. Vermont makes half the maple syrup in the States, mostly in northern Vermont. So that little pocket of area, is anyone going to northern Vermont? Yeah, where are you going? Yeah, it's close to northern Vermont. Hey, depending on the Vermonter you talk to, they'd be like, yeah, it's not northern Vermont. They grow worldwide because other people are getting interested in other types of esoteric tree syrups, which we could talk about. This is a really good direction we went in. Thank you. Where I was going was like the nerdy tools and technologies, like tubing and high vacuum and reverse osmosis. All these things y'all are gonna learn about today have really greatly impacted how efficiently we can manage woodlands and make more syrup per cap than ever before. And then some of it has to do with like economy stuff, which is kind of international, right? Like macroeconomic policies of Canada and stuff. But the Canadian Growth Plan, they're trying to target certain regions like India, where they see a lot of growth. The Canadians have a lot more marketing orders and price supports behind their crops. Whoa, it's starting to rain a little harder. Whoa, we made it to some trees. You guys can get all close and intimate with these. It's okay to be intimate with trees in Vermont. Yeah, just watch out, there's an electrical fence there. That's a trip hazard. I think it's off, but Bob Baird's always up there. I swear he's just flicking it on and off and on and off.
Never
and on
know.
and off. It gets me every week. And it's not like a little dog fence. It's like an 8,000 volt cattle fence.
Fun.
There's also no liability insurance on this farm for these stores.
Fun.
It's like you know, the lifeguard sign that says at your own. Did you read that sign outside where y'all were standing outside the door that says "Do not die"?
It's bad for you.
Dying is always bad for you.
Cool. Don't die on this door. Look at all these trees. What type of trees are they?
Maple.
Oh, cool. You guys are in. You gotta start an a cappella group or something. A family band or something.
Here.
Have you guys ever thought of that?
Oh, yes.
Some of us.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. What type of maple trees?
Sugar maple?
Yes, Dan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
5 points, Dan. How did you know it was a sugar maple, not another maple tree?
It's not a silver maple. That's what's all around our place.
That's what's all. How do you tell us?
You don't
what
put
does
a
a
spile
silver
on
maple
those.
look like?
The roots all come out of the ground and knock your driveways out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not fun.
So the maple trees do have like notoriously shallow root systems. There are many different types of maple trees. This is where I was going, right? Like silver maple trees, black maple trees, Norwegian maple trees, sugar maple trees, red maple trees, right? Some trees you can tap to make syrup, some you don't. In Vermont, we try to tap this tree the most. This is like the prize tree of the Northeast. It gives you the most sap and the sweetest sap. This tree has a name, by the way. Jenna named this tree Phoebe, after the character in Friends. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Nice. Yes, we watch Friends, but we don't watch Scooby-Doo for some reason.
I don't watch Friends either.
Oh, okay. And so this tree, It's known to turn those bright reds and oranges. That's why people come to Vermont this time of year. The foliage has been a little muted this year. We could talk about that. We can climate impacts. But we also, I'll tap red maple trees here. Historically, people didn't do that. Cornell published a paper in like the early 90s saying, you can tap red maple trees too, and you should if you're doing everything else. Because these trees are kind of special. All things are special. Like my mom with the 4 boys, right? She told all of us, we're all special. But you know, once you're the 4th youngest boy, you start to question that. You start to question authority, right? So, what makes this tree tappable? First, like a silver, do you tap your silver maple?
No.
I think technically you can tap a silver maple. That's a bad example. What type of tree is this?
Probably. It looks like an oak.
Yeah, somebody said it in the back first. Who said it? Points. Yeah. How did you ID that tree?
The leaf.
The-
Leaves.
What if the leaves plural weren't on the tree? Say it was the dead of January. How would you ID the tree? By the bark. Yeah, that's a solid theory. Because the barks look different, right? Maple trees have notoriously been like typically diverse barks. Sometimes you have like the cute baby bottom maple. And then
So this
sometimes
is
you
the
get
tap.
scraggly looking maple.
Huh.
You can also ID them by like the twig stuff. Cool. So this tree, do we make oak syrup?
Not that I know of.
Mostly nose.
Do we?
I don't know.
You're this.
No, I do know. You don't make oak syrup. But you can make other types of tree syrups. I was hinting at this before, like birch syrup is made in parts of Russia, Baltics. Have we had that before? Alaska, they make birch syrup.
Huh. I know that.
Vermont, yeah. Some people have already tried syrup. Not to confuse you, that has the bark of the birch tree in it, not the sap of the birch tree. But this tree has 2 things going for it that this tree doesn't. One, it's like a high pressure tree, right? It's built like the New York State Thruway or something, right? High traffic, high flow. And it also has this thing called compartmentalization. Can you see the boo-boos on this tree? If you're close enough, you can. This is the zoom in shot. Enhance, 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 enhance. Yeah, there's one from last year. There's one. This one is a woodpecker. Don't be fooled by that. But this one was me, right? These trees are really good at healing up those boo-boos. Quick snapshot of what we're doing here in Maple World. Every year, we drill new holes into these trees. 14,139 holes. There's 4 of us that do all the work on this farm. 3 plus Jenna's dad. And you're gonna meet all 3 of us, because we're all hanging out in that sugar house. And so starting like January 11th this past year, we trudged out to the woods with big backpacks and drills and spouts. 2 inches behind the bark, maybe 1 3/4, depending on the size of the tree. We hammer in a new little spout every year, like a little spigot, clunk, 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 right? And I will take this tubing and I will fix it to that spout where there's a little missing piece here, right? And then it will go drip, drip, drip from like, we started gathering sap here the week of Valentine's Day, February 12th. It got warm in the Northeast. And when it gets warm, you will gather sap. We'll zoom in on that. But it started dripping. The terminology is gathering. We started collecting sap, and then we started boiling that sap into syrup in a big old pot, right? And then we did that for like 2 months until April 12th. Sugaring ends when it gets too hot. When it got too hot, we stopped. We can zoom in there if we want. And then we go back to all these trees. I yank all those spouts from those trees, and I stick them in these pretty little loops. Nice. Nice. Vermonters sometimes say, old school Vermonters say noise, like Australians say noise.
So now there's nothing coming out now.
There's nothing coming out right now. We are solidly in the off season. Yeah.
Look totally gravity fed on these tubes.
Yeah, Dan's thinking like a sugar maker. Do these tubes look like they're on a slope?
Yeah.
Yeah, you build sugar bushes now with tubing. So did you think you were coming on a tour to see like a rusty bucket and a dude in plaid and a horse? Oh, this isn't that tour. So if you want to leave now, you can. Yeah, I got the overall. You got to live some of the trope, you know what I mean, to keep the tropes alive. Yeah. And anyways, sugaring back in the day, you would build sugar houses out in the woods. You were gathering buckets, wooden buckets, then tin buckets, then rusty buckets. I can't sell syrup from a rusty bucket on the internet anymore, which we could talk about the regulatory landscape if that's what we're interested in. But 99.9% of maple syrup is made off this tubing, piping. One way of thinking about sugaring is basically just like outdoor plumbing. And plumbing is horrible, right? And plumbing in the snow is worse. There's like 110 miles of tubing on this farm. It's like from here to Albany or something, right? There's tens of thousands of basically little Legos that keep all the tubing together, right? Like T's and hooks and Y's, right? Where tubing meets other tubing and it all falls apart. Not just sugaring, but our lives. As we get older, Ethan, our bodies and our lives will crumble around us.
It's only downhill from here.
And it's our job to keep it all together, right? Because, so if it's using the power of gravity to drain, right? I don't want any dangling spouts. That would be a spot where it would go drip, 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 right? That's historically a problem. In the 80s, we started attaching vacuum pumps to these systems. You know, like the slurp tool at the dentist's office? Did you just make a noise? Cool, 5 points. Oh, yeah, that noise, right? And when it does the suction, I am going to get more sap from the tree. Why? Because there's a pressure dynamic at work. When it freezes and thaws and freezes and thaws, right? The weather of sugaring is like spring break sort of weather, right? And when it's going above and below 32 or 0, the tree, the gas in the tree, the CO2 expands. So the trees just kind of get a little bloaty, right? And when you drill a boo-boo into that channel, the xylem, it's gonna go drip, drip, drip from high pressure to less pressure. We're all under pressure right now. We're under pressure from our parents to laugh at my jokes, even though they're bad. And we're under pressure of society's expectations of us. And we're under pressure from the sky, which is falling on us like Chicken Little all the time, right?
How do you know where to drill?
I'm going to try to find a nice healthy spot on the tree is the short of it. So I actually have rules. And so I want to find last year's apple. I know it's this one because it looks like the least healed up. And I need to, there's a box here. I need to stay away from it. There's a lot there. Old timers would be like, oh, you find the biggest root or the biggest branch and you tap under that straight up and down. Because there's got to be a lot of sap flowing through there, right? The most important thing for me is to get nice clean xylem and stay away from this stuff because this compartmentalization will create stained wood or non-conductive wood, we would call it in forestry, where like less liquid or no liquid and gas is going to travel through that boo-boo. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. There's a lot more there. Some people do rotational tapping where they're like, this year we tap on the east side of the tree. Next year we tap on the west side of the tree. We don't do that here. We do randomized tapping for a number of reasons.
Is there a point where you tap too much and it will kill the tree if you take too much sap?
If I'm doing my job right, you can sustainably tap these trees for the entirety of their adult life. I'm less worried about like taking too much sap. You're taking a tiny bit of sap from like one vein. Some people use this blood metaphor. I don't. I get creeped out from blood. I don't know what that says about me. And historically, we would have to really look back. Some trauma there probably.
Yeah.
But like, we're only taking a tiny bit of the overall amount of sap that the tree has. And the tree can regenerate sap. The sugars, it cannot regenerate until the next year. The tree, the energy is made through photosynthesis, right? We've learned this in science, right? The leaves, you just frowned at science.
I don't like
Science doesn't like you. I'm just kidding. That was rude of me. I apologize. The leaves are like solar panels, and they're taking in the power of the sun. They're dancing in the sun. They make all sorts of things with science, like pigments and other things that express in foliage. But they're also making little starches, like little peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Those will convert to sugars. That is what is being stored in the sap. The sap is like the vessel that is storing the nutrients for the tree. Big picture, eventually in the springtime, the sap will rise to make new leaves, new bud structures. Does that make sense? Cool. Cool. Okay. Where was I going?
What's the maximum number of caps you can have in a year?
Well, so because I'm certified organic, half of what I have to do has to do with like outdoor tree stuff. So like somebody at University of Vermont or Cornell has measured this stuff. What did I call this?
Compartmentalizing.
Sorry, you say with a question mark at the end. Yeah, sure, compartmentalization, or the boo-boos, or the non-conductive xylem, right? And somebody has cut this down and measured the area of the poking and prodding we're doing, and they've also measured this stuff, how tall and how wide a tree is growing. Do you guys have like a board where you measure everyone's height?
The rings.
Or the rings, yeah. And so the same thing, right, with people and trees, because we're all connected, we're all from the same stardust, right? And so this is average radial growth, how fast and how tall or wide a tree is growing. And we want to make sure that the area of growth rate is faster than the area of me doing the boo-boos rate. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And if that is like a baseline rule when I talk about tree health versus like the amount of sap that we're pulling from the tree. So I wait until a tree is big enough to tap, like this tree in front of Astrid. That's too small. That's a maple tree, right? We could use our tree IDing skills. Or this tree, right? This tree is almost big enough to tap, right? Not quite big enough. On average, we're tapping trees that might be like 30-ish years old. Cool. Maybe 40. I'll tap a tree for the entirety of its adult life. You can live like 300 years old. We tap trees on this farm that Jenna's great-grandmother, she tapped in 1918 that we're still making syrup from. Cool. Yeah, that is a wow moment. It's astonishing. Yeah, it's romantic. There's a tree over the hill that's probably like 300 years old I don't tap. It's just like, it seems greedy or something, you know what I mean? Got him. Real Vermonter. Real Vermonters is like condescending term that like 5th generation Vermonters say to like 3rd generation Vermonters.
It's pretentious.
Yeah, it's pretentious. Yeah,
Has the season for tapping not changed year by year?
It has. Why do we think it has? Because of global warming. Yeah, that's the thing. Climate change has changed producer behaviors. We tapped trees a little bit earlier, right? It's not like they didn't get wacky weather in January back 80 years ago or 50 years ago. But we get, it wasn't worth to hang a bucket out on a tree to get this much sap. Now, because of tubing and vacuum, it is worth it, right? Back on the vacuum, and then we can talk more about climate doom if we want. I will get like 2 to 3 times more sap from these trees with vacuum. And so when there's a leak, I'm not worried about drip, drip, drip anymore. I'm worried about, right? The big slurp machine is sucking air. It's an air leak. And when there's an air leak here, there's an air leak over there, 2 miles away at the farthest. Right? Remember what we said, Ethan? Life falls apart.
Legos.
Yeah. It like, right? It might get brittle here over time because UV, right? The rays in the sun might break this down and make this more brittle over time. And if there's little bubbles coming through here, I'm losing the overall pressure of the vacuum. When I lose pressure, I lose sap yields. When I lose sap yields, Bob Baird's not very happy. And he's like my father-in-law, but he's also my boss. So it's like a really tricky relationship sometimes. You have to tiptoe around it. Cool. I have gauges, hundreds of gauges. I check those gauges. When it's low, I walk in that direction. I have like digital gauges, right? So like when I'm not watching Reptile with JT and Benicio del Toro, I could open up my iPhone and I could be like, there's a problem somewhere on the West Mountain, right? Near line S12. So I can get temp readings and vacuum readings from afar, managing larger and larger swaths of woodlands with less and less humans so we can tap more trees. Because I do want to make every last drop of maple syrup. Cool. That is something that I did want to say, but I skipped over tons of stuff earlier. I kind of deflected some people's questions around climate change and tree health. And are there other questions about this stuff? The trees? Mother Nature?
Do you plant new trees?
Yeah, great question. The short of it is like, no. These are all wildish trees. Yeah, do you know what the maple seed looks like? The tree on the lawn has a lot of seeds on it. Yeah, what does it look like?
The fans. What are they called?
Yeah, the fans.
The whirligigs.
The whirligigs, the helicopters. You can stick them on your nose. You do that?
I've taken them apart.
I just picked them up and dropped them over and over again, really.
Just spreading life around you.
That's
That's a good little way to exist in the world.
Entertaining for about 3 minutes.
Oh, you're just entertaining yourself. You're not trying to spread life around you.
Unfortunately, I wasn't thinking about that.
Fortunately, I wasn't thinking about other life forms. Well, 5 points. Way to be real and fiercely honest with us all. So these trees, like this tree, right, is probably coming from Phoebe. That said, like a lot of sugar bushes have been like designed-ish, right? Because if you're a Baird living on this hill, clearing land or tapping trees, cutting down firewood, you will cut down every other tree that is not a maple tree for most of history, right? Like every other oak tree, right? Because if we cut down this oak tree, right? Whoa! What? That doesn't set you up for climate resilience or pest resilience or other doom situations. You'll actually make a hair more sap with a diversified woods. So like when I get certified organic, like when I get inspected by someone with a clipboard every year, we talk about things like biodiversity threshold indexes. I have to have a certain makeup in the woods. That's nerdier stuff. Cool. Nice.
You mentioned their adult life. What consists a tree of an adult?
Because adult is just a term that adults made up to lord over children. Like these trees will have a peak productive age. I don't know what, like in forestry, like what makes a mature tree. Cool, bullying is wrong.
Who knew we'd get a life lesson over here?
Yeah, just unfiltered my opinions absorbing into you right now.
Podcast would be a great future for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Podcasts are weird, right? And all these podcasts these days, all these people are like explaining things like, oh, here's what a tree looks like verbally explaining it to you over this medium that is not meant for a podcast. But I feel you. I listen to podcasts all the time, especially in the woods. I'm doing audiobooks, podcasts, music. I usually start out with spoken word stuff, and then I devolve into music at some point once I get distressed. Cool. Any other questions about this stuff? Should we keep walking? We're all settled here? Yeah, let's go look at that hut over there where I've been working. Watch out for the gun. Oh God. What are the things you got on this YouTube channel? All farm tours? This is the 50 states traveling tour. Is that what you're doing?
Oh yeah. Nothing special, just whatever comes up.
Yeah. Those are popple trees, Vermonters would say. They can't pronounce the last syllable. Poplar.
You guys don't have any R's here.
Sometimes. So, Dan, super smart and observant Dan, said it's gravity, right? So you built these areas, sugar bushes. Do we know that word? It's like a funny Northeast word for the stand where all your sugar maple trees are. It's also like a fancy ski resort in central Vermont. You can go skiing for like $200. You build them on hills so that they will feed down, right? Like that pump house is there because it's the lowest pot on that parcel of land. All the trees are above it, right? So even with vacuum, you need to be able to drain these lines as much as possible at the end of the day. This pump house is getting all those lines over here on the ridge line fed into it, and it also gets, there's one more collection point over that ridge line. Remember I said we tap another 2,000 to 3,000 trees over the ridge line? Those lines are also going down away from us to a pump house that we're pumping sap back over to here. Here is a vacuum pump. Dun da da. That vacuum pump spins really fast. It's the slurp to worst cure. That's the thing that makes the noise.
Cool.
Yeah. It's attached to variable frequency drives. If there's pump nerds, we could talk about that. It draws a lot of amps. I spend a lot of time in that dark windowless room. You can adjust the speeds, you can flip valves. If the pump is working faster and it's drawing more hertz because it's spinning faster, it's working harder because it's trying to seal up leaks somewhere. Does that make sense? Cool. What'd you say, Ethan? Sure. Cool. 5 points, Ethan. Affirming what I'm saying, validating what I'm saying. Yeah, here's the tank. This is a shiny tank. This is where my tea is. I'm gonna grab this tea.
Yay, we found it.
I've been working in here because I've been fixing all the lines that come into the tank. We'll see them on the other side. But there are lines generally that move into this tank, and this tank will fill up with sap during the season, right? Like glug, 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 glug. And as that bathtub is filling up, there's like little floats in there, like little buoys or rubber duckies essentially that aren't yellow with bills. And when the sap rises, it hits those little floats. It's turning on essentially like submersible pumps, like well pumps if your house runs off well water. And we're pumping sap from here up to where y'all parked. That's how we get it up the hill. Wow.
Where are the pipes to get the sap into the...
Where does it go? In here or where does it go after?
No, where does it go in here?
They're in the back of the tank. Let's walk around the building. We can look at the work I'm doing, and then we can all Disney constructive feedback. Wow. Jacob, you're looking really floppy today. Jacob, why don't you Whoa! Jacob, that looks really cool.
Nicely done.
Steve, you really could be doing better here.
I like the improvement. Yeah, whatever. The stuffing stuff to make them.
Oh,
So this is the connection right here where the sap goes in from here all the way to the tank.
now we got like an excavator, which is really cool, but I'm not allowed to use it.
This is a pretty cool toy.
Yeah, it may be a trust issue. Maybe it's a hierarchy issue. No one's allowed to use it. Maybe it's a trust no one situation, like X-Files or something.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It's a lot of, yeah, power comes responsibility, right, Toby McGuire? And so, we buried lines where that shot is turned up. It's not necessarily a mile. My Baird farm hat. How are you? 5 stars. Are we giving stars now? Points are kind of boring. My parents were behavioral consultants. Does that make sense? Yeah. So they had all these programs for me growing up, like, Jacob, get dressed in the morning, 5 points. Jacob, pack your own lunch, 10 points, etc., etc., etc. And I'm passing that trauma on to you right now.
Yay,
Cool.
some generation.
And so, here's the main farm. That's where Jenna's parents would milk cows twice a day. We used to milk Holstein cows. We used to sell to like Cabot, if you're familiar with like Cabot cheddar cheese. There's a lot. We could talk about cows for another half an hour. But this is Sugar House they built in '79 to be closer to the barn, right? Before that, we still have an abandoned sugar house standing out in the woods. That sugar house was built there to be closer to the trees, right? Remember, sugaring is just like a side hustle until relatively recently. So you would build a sugar house like this now to be closer to power, the main road, all these things. Come on in, watch your step, don't trip on this hose. There's hot things. This is Wesley. Everyone say hi, Wesley.
Hi, Wesley.
Close.
Hey, Wesley.
Whoa, crops. Nice. Yeah.
I need good new
What's your favorite thing on this table?
The drill.
Yeah, you want to play with it?
No,
Why not?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't have to.
Don't trust me with that.
Don't trust me. What would you do? Just start drilling into your brother's skull?
No.
No, that would be
Boring.
inappropriate.
I'm kidding.
Come, let's go all the way in so we can fit all of us. Whoa, look at this drill. This is the drill that we use today. First, this is the drill that Bob was using in the 70s, right? And then in between this, there was a thing where you could get like the backpacks, like from Ghostbusters, except attached to like a big drill, and you'd fire up the motor. They weighed like 100 pounds supposedly, and you put the backpack on and then you could drill. And then for a while, people were tapping in the 80s-ish with chainsaw drills, which is like a drill that you attach to a chainsaw motor, right? And you would drill holes with that. And now we use this cool thing, 20-volt DeWalt, yeah.
It works. Looks like it needs a new charge.
It looks like the battery's dead, huh? These, you could tap trees at home. Do you have trees at home? Mm-hmm. Some people have silver maple trees. This bit is like basically just a 5/16 wood bit. It's technically a little bit differently because they want to sell you more things. It's wound a little bit so that it will tighter, so that it will take more wood chips or wood shavings out of the hole. Because if I pound a spout into a hole that has wood shavings, it can clog the tube a little bit, right? Whoa, here's where the tube meets other tubes. Whoa, what happened here? Can we get a CSI investigation, Lily?
Got edited.
It got edited. Yeah.
Got torn up.
By what?
Rats.
Rats, maybe rats.
Squirrels?
Squirrels, said confidently. Yeah, maybe 20 points, squirrels. Squirrels are the main demons in the sugar bush, other than maybe chipmunks. I think chipmunks are worse than squirrels. They pretend that they're cute little things, but deep down we know they're evil. Coyotes, deer, porcupine. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a rat.
Are you telling me this rat here is just for decoration?
Yeah, Jenna just put this.
The second rat I've seen today.
It squeaks. This is her sense of humor. It's a Halloween thing. Are you dressing up, Irby?
No.
You're not dressing up.
I'm
Kids
already
dressing
dressed
up? Do you know what they're doing yet?
No. Well, little one like Spider-Man, so.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Power of responsibility.
Yeah.
Come full circle. And there's no scorpions in Vermont either. But there are in where?
In Utah.
Oh, watch out. Utah. I always like Salt Lake City. I think I like cities that are nestled. And Salt Lake has this quality where it's like right in the hills, which I'm sure leads to a lot of smog, but.
It does. It does.
You can't breathe in January.
Oh.
Don't breathe.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Still looks cute though.
The rest of the year it's great.
It's great.
Just don't visit in January.
There's all sorts of cool nerdy stuff, right? Like what happened there? What is this?
The drill.
Yeah, the drill. I was going with compartmentalization or non-conductive wood. I was really teeing it up, but it's okay. Right, these other stains, there was a hole somewhere either above it or below it, right? Sometimes in like fancy furniture land, you will see a tap-holed maple countertop or like tap-holed maple floor because it like tells a story, right? Cool. There's a book. There's all sorts of pictures in this book. People come look at this book if they're want. Cool. That sap gets pumped up those lines there. I said they come out of the ground. We fill up big tanks, right? Let's go look at a tank full of nothing because it's not the season. Follow me through this dark and creepy passageway. No. Think like March. March is the heart of the season. But I know a farm that will start. Remember I said we start tapping earlier and earlier? There's a farm in this county that will start tapping their trees next month. Which is, yeah, most sugar makers would say, dang, that's crazy.
Whoa, dude.
We're probably gonna mostly fit up here, but we might have to go in 2 groups.
Yeah.
I'll keep scooting.
Yeah, watch out for your head, people that have more height. Irby's like, too late.
Yeah, right?
What are we seeing for folks who aren't up here yet?
We have big stainless steel bats.
Big stainless steel bats. 5 points using observation. Yeah, these are like big bathtubs, right? This one holds 6,000 some gallons. Do we have room for any more? We can switch too. Cool. Oh, there's Dan.
There's one way in, one way out.
Yeah, it's a trap. That's the definition of a trap, right, Wesley? So this tank holds raw sap, right? and it will fill up. Have we seen sap before? We haven't even talked about sap on this tour. How did we get this far without talking about sap? Cool, let's switch, and then I'll talk about sap, and then everyone else can come up and look. Let's see what you got up here.
You brush it all the way into the hole.
It's tight.
I brush it to clean it. Yeah, a lot of sugaring, like during the season, like this tank is dirty right now, but during the season, whenever this fills up with sap and whenever it empties, you're in there with these boots and scrubbies, cleaning the tank. It's like brewing, kind of, like just a lot of.
Quick shot of you doing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how many of these you do a day?
Oh, it depends on the day, but we're usually doing a couple drums.
Okay.
And there's 40-gallon drums.
Yeah.
These are at 375 milliliters, so if you do the math, already done like 12 large boxes, and there's a dozen in each, so
Gotcha.
it's 144 times 375.
Yeah.
Original product from the tree. Tree fluid.
That's awesome. How cool is that?
This tank will fill up. So it's like if you took a gallon, one of those Poland Spring gallons, and you put like a teaspoon of sugar in it. That's what we're gathering. That's why making maple syrup is just a silly thing. Try to do something else in your lives. Because you're trying to take something that has almost zero sugar and you're trying to turn it into a thick, sugary substance. That makes 0 sense, right? So we will fill this tank up very fast, and if it's filling up that fast, you need to deal with it, right? You need to start emptying it. You need to start reducing it. I also don't want to let it sit. Yeah, you can climb up like a ladder, Ethan. Do it.
Yeah, there's your head.
And so I will drain it through that bathtub drain, essentially, right? There's more lines that go 2 doors down. There's another tank behind you. There's another tank behind that wall. There's 3 more tanks over there. But next, I force it through a reverse osmosis machine, a machine like this. You can step up and look at the sides of it if you want. It's kind of identical on both sides. What is this called?
I call it a boiler.
You call it a boiler. Said with confidence. 5 points. Yeah, some sugar makers would call it a boiler. It's an evaporator. Local boys would just call it like a rig. It's a 5x16. It's kind of old school. I sometimes say it's like a PT Cruiser. It's like no longer fashionable to be seen driving in, but it still drives down the road nice and well. Those are big flamethrowers next to damn big burners that shoot flames out. There's bays and channels. There's normally a big box between the back can and that back hood. We're missing some pieces. It's getting re-welded. That pipe feeds into that steam box essentially, and we capture the heat energy of the steam, which makes it more efficient boiling. There's bays and channels, and you force it in a serpentine flow. So as you consistently feed it sap on one end of the machine, you are eventually going to get syrup, right? What is syrup?
Concentrated sugar.
Sure, that's an acceptable answer if you were going to the Jeopardy judges and waiting 5 seconds. Yeah, it is a single ingredient caramelized product. It is the sap that is boiled and reduced. This is where the caramelization happens. This is important, right? Like when you cook a marshmallow, right? Or you cook onions in a skillet, you know what I'm talking about? Science would call that the Maillard reaction, or the browning of the sugars, right? And eventually, where I was going, but you didn't know this, it was like a bad question. Syrup is of regulated density. Maple syrup is 66.9% sugar and 1/3-ish water-ish. There's other minerals in it. But like, it is a thickness, right? And like this scoop Cole is looking at, you wanna pick up that scoop? Yeah, cool. You wanna flip it the other way, upside down? Right side up, yeah. That way, an old timer would just like look at the sugar falling off that scoop, and if it sheets across it in one consistent, this motion, flow, 5 points, this motion, then it would be syrup. That's how close they would get back in the day. Now we use temperature as a rough guide. Generally speaking, syrup occurs 7 degrees above the boiling point of water, and I use hydrometers like they use in brewing, right? I'm measuring bricks or sugar densities or bombets. right, to get it really exact. And when it gets really exact, I have a little tank here, right, that's plumbed through a filter press. I filter it one last time before I hot pack drums. You get, if folks are looking at that, you can see like what kind of looks like the inside of your tea kettle, right? You get minerals and calciums and niters.
You know, a good 20 to 30 minutes to even get to something. Yeah.
Actually,
It's all right. I mean, I'm glad it's not super busy with a lot of people
Yeah,
with
it's
travelers
better
and
sometimes.
I don't think yeah.
What's the most popular thing here? Let me get something.
The most popular thing is the amber.
Amber, okay.
Which is that there. Yeah. Let me see if I can really dig it, because he's going to do the tasting with folks.
Okay.
And he'll get to try everything. I didn't do the 6 for the other groups, but I can.
Yeah, 10 points. Would you describe yourself as a prankster?
Sometimes.
See, that's with us. Mom behind you is going like this.
At school.
That's cool.
At school, yeah.
Jenna, over here, you two are cut from the same cloth, perhaps. Every year on our YouTube, we do like an April Fool's prank. Jenna really likes to fool people, hence the squeaky rats and stuff. Is there room for everyone in here? I know it is. Cool. Yeah, cool. There are 4 main grades that some people have already tried. They run from light to dark.
Come on in.
We just learned that the light and the taste of the syrup has to do with the season, not necessarily the boiling time. It's not like we boil a darker syrup longer to make it darker and stronger. It has to do with the input of the sap. Let's try this light one first. This is called Golden Color Delicate Taste. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for saying thank you. This is the light one.
This is the light one.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want more, Jenna will pour you. I don't think I have enough for it.
Yeah, do you guys want to taste again?
This one is the lightest, most golden. I think the first major runs of the season. Yeah, sugar up. Grab one for your sister and earn more points. Or don't grab one.
I like the
Ask-
smell. I just like the smell.
That's
Just
cool.
one?
Yes.
Sure.
Don't feel like you have to try these syrups. You will not hurt my feelings. Because on these tours, I do this thing that y'all probably should have done. You create an armor so that your feelings aren't hurt. This one is called Amber Color Rich Taste. This one, most popular. What do you guys normally order? Do you know?
I don't remember.
I think he usually gets golden.
Golden?
If
Okay.
I'm remembering
This
right.
one,
I shipped your order
hair more
many
caramely.
times.
I have 3 extra golden if you guys want to try the golden.
I like the amber.
Jan's like, yes.
Yeah, you might change your mind now that
I
you're.
might have to
This
get some
one,
of my
Amber Color Rich Taste.
I
If
could
you want
be
to try
wrong
it,
about
it's
that.
smooth, it's
Very
caramely.
good.
I like the other one.
Cool. Amber Color Rich Taste. If you're at like a restaurant, this is normally where you're getting. It's what we make the most of. Think like middle of March. Early in the season, if we looked at that tank and it was full of sap, it would be like Bermuda clear.
That's good.
Later in the season, it gets a little cloudier because this is the nerdy answer of why the different grades. The sugars are breaking down to simpler sugars. You get more invert glucose. And when you get more invert glucose and you do the marshmallow thing on the evaporator, what did I call that?
My artifact.
Yeah, whoa, 5 points.
I should get at least 10.
Oh,
A free
I
jug.
mean, it's a pretty good answer.
yeah, 10 points. It changes the caramelization reaction, right? The different sap makes it a different tasting syrup. Does that make sense? There's tricks you can do, right? Like if I let sap sit in a tank for a long time, the sugars would break down more. But generally, I want to move the sap as fast as I can. Sugar makers want to make as light syrup for as long as they can, because once you start making these darker syrups, it means like the world is ending, like the season is coming to a close, and I want to make as much syrup as we possibly can. This one, dark color, robust taste. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Dark color, robust taste. Dana, how would you describe this syrup? You're just gonna read off the wall?
It pairs well
That's
with
the amber.
coffee,
This is
toasted
dark.
marshmallows and a
This is dark.
cup of vivid coffee.
Oh, wow.
So does it have the same, like, percentage?
Yeah, technically they're all the same amount of sweetness. What were you
I
saying?
was just saying that it's a more versatile syrup. If you cook, Jacob and I cook a lot with maple, so we like this one because we can use it for our
Still great
Brussels
on
sprout,
pancakes.
But yeah, it's also good on pancakes. But yeah, Brussels sprouts.
The hair stronger. It's almost like you're going from something that's like milk chocolatey to something that's like dark chocolate. Like this last one almost has a bite on the end of it. This very dark strong. This one, very dark strong, if you want to try it. Sometimes it's marketed as like a cooking or baking syrup.
So the flavor stays longer, I would imagine, when you're baking it.
Yeah, like it will cut through, like say you're doing banana bread, or you're like grilling a big old brisket, or you're doing a stir fry with lots of ginger, you might want to use a darker, stronger syrup because it will just cut through more. It maybe tastes like a dark honey. There's little recipe cards there on that bench behind Cole that like have little inspirations beyond pancakes and waffles, right? There's cocktails, there's fish, chicken, all sorts of ways of cooking with maple. Cool. Those are the 4 pure grades of maple syrup. But wait, there's more. TV and stuff. But wait, there's more. We make infused syrups. That's what Wesley's doing in there right now. We make a spruce infused, a birch bark infused, a sumac infused, and a mint infused syrup. These are kind of... Oh.
I just found a tick on it.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, yikes.
Check your heads, people.
Check your bodies at the end of the tour. In private. In a closed room. Okay. This one has spruce infused in it. Dun, dun, dun. This one, spruce infused syrup.
What is spruce?
What is spruce? That one is birch, Dave. If you want, this one, but you can do anything you want. There are no rules here.
Spruce is
I'm not
like
sure
the bright, those
there are
bright green
definitely rules
shoots
here.
of the spruce trees in the springtime.
This one is
so, like,
spruce.
Think like Christmas tree, the evergreen tree.
Spruce.
It kind of tastes like the pininess.
Spruce if you want to try it.
Do you have bacon infused?
Oh, we should. That'd be so good. Old timers, we didn't even talk about defoamers, but old timers used to cook with animal products. So like when it's on that evaporator and it's boiling and bubbling, there's a lot of foam pressure. Yeah, it's like piney and Christmassy and rosemary-ish. Great with alcohol, but also good on like fish. I think a salmon is the highest purpose for the spruce. There's little cocktail recipes. What's up? Oh, there are. Did you see that recipe over there? There's a roasted potato spruce recipe.
Potatoes?
Check it out. Love potatoes. Potatoes love me.
Absolutely.
They call me the starchinator.
They call you the star. Who is they?
I am the starchinator.
This one is birch infused maple syrup, not from the sap of the birch tree. Remember how we all got confused? I got confused about that earlier. It is from the bark of the black birch tree. So it tastes like a root beer float-ish. It tastes like a cherry wintergreeny sort of a thing. That one is the spruce if you want to try the spruce. This one is the birch. This one is the birch. Where's the birch?
Which one's dark?
This one's birch. This one is birch.
Oh, very good. Oh, that'd be good on pancakes.
I haven't found one yet that I went, ooh.
Yeah, a little smoky, a little woody, people say sometimes. Black cherry, what is it too? Wintergreen. Yeah, it tastes like wintergreen.
Maybe.
This one, sumac things. Whoa, it's an exit through the gift shop model. Surprise.
Weird.
And so, we will sell you anything. We will sell you that meat in that freezer. We will sell you any jug that you would ever want. If you want free things, I will give you free postcards and stickers and stuff for doing the tour. Or if you want those recipe cards, they're all free.
Nice.
Cool.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, oh, you're welcome. You were doing it begrudgingly.
The main one.
I'll take your best, the most popular thing.
The most popular thing is
This thing.
I'll take it.
How big? The biggest one.
Huh? Right there. Up, 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 right there.
The cord.
Perfect.
Perfect for the fridge.
Perfect.
I got 24.
24.
And you can put it on the side.
You got the little boxy? Yeah. You guys need a little baggie?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for taking along the tour.
Absolutely.
Let us know if the video comes out good.
I will.
Yeah.
Be sure to include all those really weird offensive jokes into it.
I sure will. Thank you, guys. All right. This was fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Bye, everyone. All right, y'all. There you have it. I have my maple syrup. Okay, this was a fun tour. We learned a lot. Hopefully you learned a lot. We learned how to make maple syrup. And it was raining like crazy right now. So this is it. If you watch this whole thing, I know you learned a lot because I know I did. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comments. Let me know what you think about maple syrup. This is Vermont. Completed and done. And I'll see you in the next state, all right? Peace. All right, y'all. This was a long day, okay? So now that we're done with the tour. We learned about maple syrup and how they make it, the process, and the guy who was, you know, doing the tour. He was very funny. He made it very entertaining, and like I said, we learned a lot, and I know you learned a lot. We are staying the night here in Vermont, and so I booked a. I don't know if you want to call it a hotel, but I booked a place to stay here in Vermont, and it's called the Stable Inn, right? The Stable Inn. I just checked in, okay, and I am so impressed with this place. It's so nice here, all right? And I'm gonna go outside for a little bit to show you what it's like, where it's located and stuff like that. But I just want to show you a little bit of what this place is like, man. So I just met the owner. And this is outside, and everything is made out of wood. As you can see, it's wood all around. Again, this is Vermont, and look at this. Look at this. Very cozy place, man. And here it is. Let me show you the entrance so that if you are ever here in Vermont, and you want to stay here, this would be a very nice place for you to stay. This is a really good option, I think. This is a really good option. So this is it. This is the Stable Inn. Okay. And it is, and as you can see, the mountains in the back. Look how beautiful that is, right? The mountains in the back, very quiet. And I'll just go around so you can see a little bit of what it is. And this is it. So now I'll go inside and show you how nice and cool this is, man. So the lady I just spoke to, she owns it. She just checked me in. And so I'll show you around. As I was saying, this is the Stable Inn. It is so nice. I'm just making a quick video, as I said.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely. It is really nice.
Yeah.
Really, really nice. So you have 2 floors. Perfect. Nice. Okay. Nice artwork here. Perfect. All right. And let's go in. Alright. Alright, so we have a very nice library type room here. Very cozy. And we have a nice piece of artwork here. You doing, brother? Good, good. I'm just making a quick little video for my memories.
That's awesome. There's a pack of Pellegrino water over there.
Okay.
Just have it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Yep.
Look at that. We got a record player here. Nice. You don't see that all the time. Perfect. Okay. So we have, let's see, very nice bathroom here, right? And this is the kitchen area right here. And this is outside. Tell me this is not cool. This is very cool. You know, it gives you a home feeling, right? It's not like a hotel. You get a nice home feeling staying here. This is nice. And of course the fridge, if you buy something and you want to put it in the fridge, and you got the kitchen. This is the downstairs, and so as for me, my room is upstairs. Okay, we're gonna go up here. We're gonna go up here, and I'll show you guys where my room is, what it's like. Upstairs, we have another kitchen up here, small kitchen. You got your coffee, tea, all kinds of ingredients of what you need here. Perfect, absolutely awesome. And these are the rooms, room 7. I love these. Look at that, very nice. Room 8. Room 9, 11, and I'm in room 10. I mean, I'll show you what the room is like, but let's look at the bathroom first. This is the bathroom for the upstairs. Okay, and everything is brand new, because she said they just finished renovating it back in May, so everything is all brand new. Very nice, man. So if you do come to to Vermont, and these are the other rooms over there. So if you do come to Vermont and you are close to here, what's the city here? Chittenden. Hold on. It's Chittenden, Vermont, right? How do you even pronounce this? Chittenden. Am I saying this right? Chittenden, Vermont. The city, Chittenden, Vermont. Okay, so actually I don't know if I'm in Chittenden. The farm was in Chittenden. I don't know where this is. Anyway, if you look it up, you can find it. But this is it, man. Very nice, very cozy. I'll just show you what the room looked like, and then this will be it for the video. I just wanted to show you a nice place to stay. Hold on. So this is the room. Okay, this is the room. Very nice room. And they have another room. Well, room 11. It's slightly bigger. See it? It's slightly bigger with a bigger bed, but you do have to pay a little extra if you want the bigger bed. But this is good enough for me. I don't need nothing bigger than that. And this is it. So, thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. Like, comment. If you've been to Vermont, tell me how your experience was. Mine so far has been really good. I was happy to make this video for you guys, and I'm glad to take Vermont off the list, okay? On my 50 state wide tour. So Vermont checked off, and this is it. So thank you for watching. I will see you next time. All right, peace.